on the Grand Ole Opry platform.
Bill Cody in the morning, WSM. This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
So, not to alarm you too much, keep in mind it's Friday the 13th, and I didn't plan it this way, but as soon as we wrapped the show yesterday, my sweet friend, co-host Kelly Sutton, turns to me and says, "Hey, what's wrong with your eye?" And I said,
That's exactly how I sound, too.
the smoking years. And I said, "Hello, doll." And she said, "Go look." And I did. And I wish I hadn't, because a blood vessel burst in my eye. So my apologies. Joel Wilson in Master Control has told me how to generally avoid grossing you out this morning on Friday the 13th.
I think it fits. It totally
does,
fits.
it?
It's
Yeah.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
My daughter informed me that everyone is calling this Summerween because we are halfway to Halloween and it is Friday the 13th. So if you want to participate, some of the things that people are doing, instead of carving pumpkins, they're going to carve watermelon. And they're going to do s'mores, and you can do like the ghost-shaped marshmallows if you want for s'mores. You're supposed to watch scary movies tonight because it is, Summerween. I was like, that's kind of cute. That's fun. Yeah.
How's Driver's Ed going?
Oh, well, we haven't hit anything.
Parallel Park?
Okay. Those two words don't exist in her vocabulary.
First, we just want a park.
We just need a park.
Before we parallel
Forget
park.
the parallel part. So she's taking her test today, and if all goes well and she passed the test, then she will be ready to get her license. She won't get her license until the end of July.
Because she's going to a camp, right?
Yeah, she's going to be gone for a while. So she will be able to walk into the DMV and hand them the paper, and they take her picture, and then she'll be a fully licensed driver. Which, God help us all. She's actually she's a decent driver. I will say this. My daughter is a good driver. She can't park yet. We're working on that. And she's still learning some of the particulars.
The code of the road.
Yeah. I mean, and it's things that we just take for granted.
You can turn right on red after you stop and look for oncoming traffic.
After you make sure there's nothing else coming. Right.
And Reese apparently thinks that you're supposed to know she's coming.
If you think it would help, I can get a priest, and we can sprinkle some holy water on the car.
Yeah.
Just sort of give it a general blessing.
Well,
they do that when you buy a new house in the Catholic community.
Well, we could do that,
Right.
and then I think we also, for us, we would just go lay hands on it. Like all of us would get around it and touch it and pray at the same time.
There you go.
Kind of like that contest, like whoever can stay on the car the longest wins the car. Okay.
Yeah, so that would be really preferable.
And with apologies to you, Reese, yesterday I called your mother, and I think you were taking a nap, so I just left a voicemail. But I was in the Rivergate area, and traffic came to a standstill in the construction up there. And I called Kelly, and I said, Reese does not have driver's ed duty today in the Rivergate community.
No, she's strictly Brentwood. Strictly Brentwood. But yesterday they had them on a simulator, and they were having them text with one hand and drive on the simulator with the other. And I was like, what is, because she's texting me going, "Hey, I'm texting while driving." And I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, no, they want to show us how distracted we can be. She's like, but actually I'm really good at this. And she's like, I haven't wrecked once. And I'm like, this is having the reverse effect. It's supposed to scare her. And instead she's like, I'm really good at this. You want to play anagrams? And she's sending me things. So anyway, all that to be said, we are very close to having a driver. Coming up, Bonnaroo has kicked off. It started last night. We've got a little highlight from Bonnaroo. Luke Combs bringing out a special guest last night. Eric Church and Trisha Yearwood spending the 4th of July together, but separate.
Stop it.
Give you, I know. I just fanning the flames. Just fanning the flames a little bit. Plus, guys, 2 pieces of video you cannot miss if you're watching on streaming. Go over to Peacock, Roku, all the places that we stream, because there is brand new video of Bailey Zimmerman coming out on stage on his tour, and he told me it was going to be spectacular, and it does not disappoint. And then secondly, Kane Brown showing up at Walmart and taking over the speaker system. So yeah, attention Walmart shoppers, Kane Brown is in the vicinity. We've got all that coming up.
Speaking of the chief, here he comes with Hands of Time. We'll go to the Grand Ole Opry stage with Lauren, Elena, and Boots on the Ground straight ahead as well. And Kelsey Waldon, our first guest up this morning on the Assembly Food Hall stage.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Well, guess who just sat down with her guitar on the Assembly Food Hall stage? Kelsey Waldon is here. She's got a brand new album. Very excited. A week from today it comes out. Every Ghost on Oh Boy Records. She used to work for John Prine. Kind of still does.
Kind of still does.
Still in the family.
Yeah.
And playing the Grand Ole Opry tomorrow night, your favorite stage.
Playing the Grand Ole Opry. I think it's maybe my seventh time, eighth
2016, Charlie looked it up. 2016 was your debut.
time. Yeah. And I never got one of those fancy debut signs, by the way. That was I guess that was before all the.
Hey, we know a guy.
You know what I mean?
We know a guy.
Okay, I'm like, I should be. Maybe we should like redo that.
Retrofit.
Yeah. There we go.
That's what we need
There we
to do
go.
for Kelsey.
Yeah.
There's some prime parking in that, and a lot of people take it with them, and then they just pull it out whenever they need a parking
Yeah,
space
I never got
downtown.
one. I mean, I think that was just before, I was still working over at the Nashville Palace at the time, and I just, I don't even know really how we got on the Opry, but I did.
What do you remember about it?
Did you work the Nashville Palace because Randy Travis did? Was that your inspiration?
Well, I did. I'd always heard that, of course, and I worked there because of Jesse Lee Jones from Robert's Western World, but of course, worked there because Randy Travis worked there.
So when
And the
did we
Catfish.
first meet? It's been years, I know.
I think it's been a long time ago. I was actually telling my manager Kim that I had emailed y'all one time and asked. I was like, I need to be on the show, and you had me on the show.
If you
That
don't
was
ask, you won't know.
No, and that was like, that had to be like 2014 or 15 or. And that was when I just had a little EP out. So.
How long had you been in town at that point?
Not that long. I guess it's been like a decade now, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah. And how?
Yeah.
how
November 2012.
Oh,
So,
was that it?
almost 13 years ago. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. When I was just emailing, I didn't know. I just had moved here from home, and I was just.
Well, if you remember famously, I'm going to tell this on myself.
Okay,
This is one of my
okay.
it was one of my more embarrassing moments. So I get the email from Kelsey, and I'm listening to the album on my iPod at the time, right? This is 13 years ago. And I think I am responding to Bill Cody. And I said, hey, got this email from Kelsey, listening to the album. I don't care much for the first song, but the rest is so good. We should have her on the show. And this is why you should never email somebody as you're taking off on an airport or on the runway, because I emailed Kelsey instead of Bill Cody.
I say I don't remember that.
But now,
so you're good.
But now, but now you know I tell the truth at least.
What was the song? Do you remember?
Oh, it's like 13 years ago. I don't know. But
That's scarring.
yeah.
I don't honestly even remember what the first song from that EP was. It's okay. It's okay.
You should play it today just to
I'm
spite
probably
him.
not going to.
Yeah. But I think.
But
I think.
and I'm sure it also wasn't bad in my defense. But
Yeah. That's awesome.
that was that was my first EP. So
When did John Prine hear you and want to sign you?
Well, I had two albums out called The Gold Mine and I've Got Away kind of before I was signed to Oh Boy. And my first album with them was White Noise, White Lines, and I'd actually had that album recorded before. But I think I just known kind of Oh Boy, in the Nashville scene for a while. They'd been really, really supportive. And I actually didn't meet John until I kind of met him through Fiona Prine.
Mm-hmm.
I did a John Prine tribute show at the Basement East.
I was there.
And for I can't remember how long ago that was, honestly, but Fiona was there, and that's when I met her the first time, and that had to be like 2017 or something like
well,
that.
and that was Tommy's first performance.
Yes, okay, I remember that.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I was over to the side
Yeah.
doing interviews, and I pulled him over and I said, "Hey, you're performing tonight," because John wasn't there that night, but he said, "I'm performing for Dad," and I said, "You excited about it?" And he goes, "This is my first performance," and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah, he used to. Tommy's
ow."
come a long way.
Yeah. So that was a great show. So that's where Fiona saw you for the
Well,
first
that's
time.
they had just, so I guess they had known about me. That's what I was going to say is that that night I met Fiona, and she was like, "Can you take a picture with me? Like, I want to send it to my husband, you know." And I was like, "Yeah, your husband, John Prine." You know, she was like, "We're big fans," and yeah, I ended up doing some shows with him. I sang for the first time with him on the Cayamo cruise. That was like, I think 2018 maybe. I'm having a, but yeah, after that, the rest is history. I mean, we did the Ryman together. We did Knoxville. We played like a bunch of dates. I mean, I did a bunch of dates on the Tree of Forgiveness tour, and I don't know. He just we just hit it off, you know, and ended up being the first.
Was it a Western Kentucky thing?
Maybe so. Maybe so. Maybe so. I remember the first time I was so nervous on Cayamo when I sang. They called me like an hour before to sing Paradise, and I was so nervous. And I'd been sick on the boat because I got like seasick or whatever. And I had been, you know, pardon me, but literally throwing up. And they called, and I was like, "I'll be there. I'll be there in an hour." And
I'll be hurling, but I'll be there.
No, I didn't say that. I was just like, I'll be there. I'm not gonna, you know. I was like, I felt terrible, but I was like, but I feel like really the next time I was like, all right, I'm gonna knock this out of the park when I got to sing "In Spite of Ourselves" and stuff, because I felt like I really needed to like redeem myself.
What a great song.
So after that, it was like, we're good.
Well, you know, this is Bonnaroo week, and I got to see you with John at Bonnaroo as well.
Oh my gosh!
And you know, it had been
yeah.
such a long day. Haley Hall and I were there doing interviews all day long. This was 2019, and I came this close to leaving, and I said, "No, I gotta stay for John." And I'm so glad I did, because that was the last time I ever had a chance to see him. So
that was an amazing show. You know, it's kind of crazy. I forget about all the. I don't forget about all the amazing memories, but when they're brought back up to me, I'm like, I did do that. I sang a Bonner with John Prine.
Yeah.
You know,
So, I saw him at the Louisville Palace during my Louisville radio and television years, and he and Bonnie Raitt. He was opening for Bonnie Raitt, and one of the things he said in an introduction to a new song he was doing or something, he says, "Well, some pretty good stuff's been going on. I have my own record label called Old Boy Records, and I'm the only artist."
that was his dream. You know, he was. They were like 30 Tigers before. You know, 30 Tigers was 30 Tigers.
Yeah.
It was Oh Boy Records. You know, the original independent. So
A week from today, your new album, Every Ghost, comes out. We're going to feature a song called Tiger Lilies right here. Is this an original?
It is an original.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you co-write?
Not a lot really.
So it just didn't work for
I'm
you?
thinking.
Or?
No, I'm thinking about maybe doing some more of that. But no, just I think all my albums I've just I don't know. You know, I just write my own songs. I mean, I guess I'm just not really inspired to do the other. I kind of have just you know, my artist vision that I'm kind of working on. So,
All right.
but I'm down to co-write.
But if Bill Anderson calls, you're available.
Oh yeah, I'll
okay.
call. Yeah,
All right, just wanna
for
make
sure,
sure.
for sure. People that I like, yes.
Kelsey Waldon. Every Ghost, a full album, a week from today. Here's Tiger Lilies.
From WSM Radio, this is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
A Kentucky Girl is in the house this morning. We've got Kelsey Waldon here with new music that comes out next Friday, the full album, Every Ghost. And we featured Tiger Lilies, and she's going to play live for us. You have a sign as people come into Monkey's Eyebrow telling them that you're famous and you're from there.
I have what?
A sign.
Oh yes, I do have a sign there. Yes.
How long have you had that?
It's for the past couple years.
Did we have a ceremony?
There was not a ceremony.
Is that because there was nobody there to have a ceremony?
No.
How
I
big is
don't
Monkey's
know.
Eyebrow? What's the population?
It's not very big. I try to tell people this all the time, but of course, you know, Monkey's Eyebrow has stuck with me. I never thought that was really weird to be from there until I left.
Because you've known
And
it your whole
everybody
life.
thought-
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, and everybody in Kentucky, you know, we have rabbit hash. We have a lot of possum trot. There's tons of big bone lick. You know, you've got like all these really interesting
What was the rabbit one? Rabbit hash?
rabbit hash. Yeah.
Rabbit hash. Oh,
Yeah.
Google rabbit hash.
But and there's more than that. But and I personally love it. I love the color. You know, I love just it's just character, you know.
So when did music come into your life over there in Western Kentucky? I mean, we talked about so much rich heritage. You think about John,
Sure,
who
yeah.
we reverence, John Prime, but Merle Travis and Mose Rager and
Yeah.
all those great Western Kentucky thumb pickers.
Absolutely.
Ike Everly.
And I'm from even further west than that.
Yeah.
I'm from like almost where the Mississippi River, well, exactly where the Mississippi River and Ohio River come together. And, but yeah, I grew up, I mean, I've been singing since I can remember. And, you know, played music since I was a little girl, which I feel like is a lot of people's story. But that's just how it was. You
Listen
know?
to the
My
Opry?
granny wrote songs, and oh yeah, we used to come to the Opry, and my granny wrote songs. My great grandmother played guitar. I mean, she thumb picked guitar, but
Oh, you got to
yeah.
tell the Willow Avalon story, Charlie, speaking of grandmothers.
Willow last night at the Opry had both of her grandmas come out on stage because she's go, these are the people that taught me to sing and first were encouraging.
Yeah.
And the grandmas did Knoxville Girl.
nice.
So nothing like a good Louvren Brothers
Nice.
murder ballad on the Grand Ole Opry stage.
The best.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man.
Sing what you know. Sing what you know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So what was
Yeah.
playing around the house then? If Grandma was writing and the other grandma picking, and
Well, I grew up. I mean, my immediate parents didn't really. They like music, but you know they didn't. My dad owned a duck hunting lodge, and so that's what he did for a living. And
Does Riley Green know this?
right, I don't think so. He's still open if he wants to come down there and call. I honestly, they need some good business down there. It's called Waldon Lodge. But yeah, no, my the first. I would say the first sounds of music I heard coming from my granny's sunroom. She had an 8-track player that was in her sunroom, and you know, I don't know, it was like Loretta Lynn, Conway Twitty, Freddie Hart, you know, Tammy Wynette. I of course saw Patti Loveless when I was a little girl.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, it was. I saw her at the Big E in Paducah, Kentucky, with Vince Gill actually on that tour, and yeah, I mean, she was obviously one of my heroes as a really young age. I mean, the Judds, Keith Whitley. I mean, all the Kentucky people. You know, we really looked up to
Big
them.
Blue Nation.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I'm talking about.
BBN, baby.
BBN.
Yeah, but you know, I loved a lot of other music. Obviously, when I started writing songs and stuff, you know, I loved Bob Dylan and Tom Petty and Neil Young and you know all those things.
And we were looking at artwork earlier on your new album, which comes out next Friday, Every Ghost, and you had your hat on. You're not wearing it this morning, but I read
I'm not.
a review.
I'm
Somebody
having
said
a great hair day.
they reference the fact that she is so Kentucky all the way down to the Bill Monroe tilt of her hat.
Yeah, people love to point that out.
Yeah.
I do wear my hat cocked to the side. I mean, like Bill Monroe. Yeah, all my favorite grassers. You know, Ralph Stanley. I mean, they all. I mean, I remember seeing Keith Whitley and Ricky Skaggs sing with Ralph Stanley when I was a little girl, and everybody had their little hats cocked to the side, and I was like, that's
That's what I want to do.
that's pretty cool. So.
Kelsey Waldon, live all over the world on WSM Radio and Circle Country Television. And that's on the new album. It comes out, the full album, Every Ghost, comes out next Friday. In between now and then, you're playing the Opry tomorrow night. And Skinny Dennis is where you're doing your album release show here in town. And I was looking at the beginning of your tour schedule. Good night. It's back to back to back. D.C.,
is.
New York, Philadelphia, Cleveland. There's a girl working for a living.
Yeah, I've been for a long time.
you got to take your fly guitar for those. Those are the ones, right? Are you going out flying, or are you going to be on the bus?
No,
Okay,
no,
good.
we can't. Yeah, no. I take a 5-piece band out, and we're. I love doing headlining shows. You know, that's kind of been my ultimate goal. Obviously, is to I love stretching it out. I love playing 90 minutes and getting to do whatever I want to do.
Well, we wish you had 90 minutes with us, but we don't have time.
Well, I'll stay here.
And if you look to the very end of the tour, Ryman Auditorium, November with 49 Winchester. Love those
Yes.
guys. That's going to be a fun night.
Finally, my very first. I know I said I played the Ryman with John, but actually just sang at the Ryman with John. I was not my name was not on the bill, you know, so my name is on this bill.
Oh,
my
that's
band,
awesome.
So, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Great to have you up. thing. I
you so
appreciate it. I know
much.
it's early, but
It is.
you
but
got
that's
the
okay.
goods, girl. All over
you
the
so
world.
much.
At WSM Radio and Circle Country Television with Kelsey Waldon. Coffee Country and Cody and Dirks. Kelly Sutton was in the creek with Dirks. I'll let her explain so she can save her reputation while she still can.
Oh, that's long
And
gone.
that was-
Reputation's been gone for 20
I know
plus
you
years.
said creek, but it sounded like crate, and I'm like, well, this is even a better story. Like, where were they? Like,
If you're
in
from
a
Southern
shipping
Indiana,
container?
it would be Crick. So I was actually in the Crick with him. No, he did his record release, and it comes out today. So
Oh, it does. That's right.
happy album release day to Dierks Bentley. Broken Branches out today.
Yeah, and you love the record. You loved all the new
I
stuff, huh?
Absolutely loved it. There is a song. Kelsey's still here. She's just talking. It's no big deal. She's like, look, I'm having a good time with everybody. The new album is out. There is a song on this album that I highly recommend. Not that I have any influence over your pick of the week, but I'm just going to say.
There she goes again. Speaking it
gonna
into existence,
say,
aren't you, girl?
I am. Off the Map. Listen to Off the Map. I mean, the whole album is fantastic, but when that played, there was something special happening, and we are like sitting in a creek bed, and there are fireflies and tiki torches, and here they are, they're playing up there, and I'm like, gosh, that song is just so very good.
Particularly in that setting.
That particular in
Yeah.
that setting was
and
beautiful.
the title, it goes right along with it.
So good. It's so very good. Okay. So Bailey Zimmerman told us last time I saw him, he's going out on this tour, right? And he said, hey, I'm really going to work on stage for this, like the stage presence, and especially like the open for my show is going to be something spectacular. There's going to be pyro. And I was like, oh, great. That's what we need is Bailey Zimmerman setting himself on fire. So I found video opening night in Detroit. Y'all watch this. For those that aren't watching, I will narrate later, but just take a look at this. Here's Bailey's new intro. He shoots up through the stage, grabs a bungee cord, and swings like Tarzan across to the next side of the stage while there are flames going behind him. Now, every part of that is terrifying. So it's like a toaster oven pops him up like a Pop-Tart, and then he swings with this rope. Every part of this, he could get hurt. He could get hurt on the elevator coming up. He could get hurt on swinging across the stage and dropping down. There's fire, live fire. I watched this and I was like, what insurance company said, yes, we're going to insure this tour?
We can't get no insurance.
I know, he probably doesn't have it. But it's so funny because you said Spider Monkey is what we think of him whenever we're like, that is that not the most Spider Monkey entrance?
Absolutely.
I knew it.
No, the great wrestling intros have nothing on that.
Absolutely. It is crazy.
The
It's
opening
absolutely crazy.
is very Michael Jackson-esque.
Yes.
Where he popped out of the stage on that last tour.
And have you seen that documentary where he's fighting them? Saying he wants that elevator lift and they were not going to give it to him.
Well, it was part of the
Well, it's
MJ
part
the
of
musical.
Yeah. Where they didn't want to do it because it was too expensive.
Yeah.
And he was like,
No,
okay,
we're gonna
but
do
you're going to
this.
do it.
Yeah.
So anyway. All right, Bailey, be careful. That's all we got to say. He's out on tour. All of that.
Hey.
It could
He's
go
going to end up
real
in the
wrong.
front row, like not letting go with a rope too late or something. You could just tell.
Thing is, he's real pliable. And so I think he just kind of roll. He's kind of rubbery. You
He
know?
has youth on his
He
side.
does have
for
youth
sure.
on his side.
And in addition to you and Paul in your insurance race, now that Reese is driving,
God.
Again,
Yeah. It's a scene.
think about it before you insure him out there on the road. Your insurance companies that are probably getting calls from his people.
Just don't know. I saw it. I was like, this is insanity.
You want us to insure what?
Okay, next time we'll tell you more about Kane Brown taking over Walmart speakers. So if you're shopping anytime soon and you hear him, you know he's in the store.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
From the Assembly Food Hall stage, wood from the Ryman Auditorium circa 1950, the wood the Circle at the Grand Ole Opry House is from. That's where Austin Tolliver is sitting right now in Mr. Acup's living room.
It's absolutely beautiful in here. Absolutely beautiful. I'm honored to be here. Thank y'all so much for
And
having
we're
me.
honored to have you. I walked back in the green room to greet you, and I said, I know your daddy. And you said, A lot of people do. And your dad was Billy Joe Tolliver out of Texas Tech, number 17, and my football hero, along with my son when he was little, and Spike Dykes was coaching the Red Raiders. And I was saying, Spike was like a surrogate father to me. And you said he was to your dad.
Yes, sir. Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt about it.
And the redhead from Boyd, Texas.
Yeah, that's why I dye my hair. I dye my hair because I've been in that man's shadow for too long. I can't have that bright red hair going all the time.
He had an absolute cannon for an arm. Unbelievable. He got drafted by the Chargers. Yep. And Bobby Beathard said, I said, how's Billy Joe doing? I ran into him because Casey was at the Opry one night backstage, and who's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame now. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Beathard, who was the general manager of the Chargers, I said, how's Billy Joe doing? He goes, well, if I could get him to think about football instead of golf, things would be a little bit better.
Ain't nobody going to get him to stop thinking about golf.
So that really ultimately was where his heart was.
My dad directly told me, my mother, and everybody else in my family that all he has to do is be in good enough shape to go from his golf cart to his golf ball and back. So that's how much golf that man plays.
Solid plan.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably not good for the heart, but I guess good for the golf ball,
Listen, If John Daly can still do it, I have confidence your dad can still do it.
But I'm pretty sure that if my dad and John Daly got on the golf course, it would be the most entertaining day of golf, but something that could probably never be put on the internet.
I was going to say, but a major network would want to pick it up.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, but it would have to go on like HBO or something because the bleeps that would have to go in on that from them two talking would be unreal.
And, growing up with a famous dad like that, you have carved your mark not only in the music business now, but your own mark in sports when you were younger, coming out of Louisiana and playing at New Mexico State, and played at Tech as well.
I got lucky. I was a dual sport All-American in high school, and football and baseball. And my dad had his thumb on me my whole life, preparing me to. Because, when I was born, my parents were in college. So technically, I was my dad's teammate growing up, not just his son, And
so you were born in Lubbock?
I was born in Lubbock, yes, sir. And he raised me in a way to be a professional. And it kind of, once I got done playing football and realized football wasn't going to be the path and moved into music, I still take that football path to music. Mm-hmm. The way that that work ethic? Yes, sir. Just kind of like the drive and everything, like everything that you have to do, you have to compete every single day, and you have to be the best that you can be, and you also have to be the best person you can be. And, it's one of those things that he always instilled in us, from me to my sister and my two little brothers. And it was just something that was driven home all the time, was hard work and dedication, because you can't get anywhere without working hard.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say this. I know your music career is foremost right now, but the Titans need some help. We could probably get you a walk-on practice.
I don't know.
Try out.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can run like I used to anymore. I don't think these hamstrings work like they used to. I can still catch a football. That's a fact. I can still get opened, but I may cramp up after the first one. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, the crazy thing is there are so many people right now, especially in country music, that have taken that path. They've been, an All-American. We've got Warren Zeiders, who played lacrosse at a very high level, and Chase Rice and so many others who played sports. And it is a certain mentality. There is that work ethic that goes into it. So at what point did you go, you know what, music is going to be the path for me? And how did you break that to the family?
Well, that's the thing, is like music, it came on a bet. Okay. It wasn't like music was going to be I didn't know what I was going to do.
So is your dad, your mom, or either one of them musical?
My mom acts like she's an opera singer every single day at the house. But
Solid.
How it came up, honestly, was a bet with a buddy of mine named Todd Clark, who basically said, I'm going to put a song out and it's going to beat you. And I said, no, I'm going to put a song out and it's going to beat you. And then I told him, I said, I'm going to get a record deal before you. And then all of a sudden, I did my first song in the studio, fell in love with it.
Was that here?
Yes, sir. It was here. And then right after I did my first song and fell in love with it, it was like 6 months later, I played Whiskey Jam, and that was my first live show ever. And I'm like, this is not normal, right? And then 4 months later, I got a record deal. So when I tell people that, like, when they're like, well, how did you do it? Can you give me advice? I'm like, no.
Yeah, don't tell people that.
Well, I'm just being honest.
I know.
So instead of a 10-year town, you had a 10-month town.
Yeah.
Literally.
But I'm still on that 10-year town plan because the record deal I got lucky to get because it helped me build to where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And without it, I wouldn't have been anywhere near, like I wouldn't be sitting in this chair right now, you know? And I learned a lot over the years, but I've learned it with professionals instead of learning it by myself.
Mm-hmm. And you talk about signing your record deal. Ride For Me has like 100 million streams.
It's doing something like that. I don't know. That song's crazy. That song was one that everybody was like, oh, I don't know. And I was like,
I do.
I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just exploded on the internet. And once it exploded on the internet, it's just done its own thing since then. I don't know. It's like its own animal.
So what are your mom and dad thinking right now with what's going on in your life?
My dad tells me all the time, well, you ain't Luke Combs, son.
That's the Billy Joe I know.
Yeah, that's about how it goes down. You know, I'm like, hey, Dad, listen to this new song. Tell me what you think. He's like, it ain't Luke Combs, son.
I really hope you tour with Luke.
So,
at some point.
Luke Combs, if you're out there listening, I want you to know you are the competition just because my dad made it that way. I do respect the fact that you are the man, but you're the only one now that I have to beat just because of my dad.
Bullseye. That's great.
So you mentioned Whiskey Jam was your very first live gig.
Yes, sir.
Where were you on the road somewhere where suddenly you realized that, oh man, people are singing the lyrics back to me?
Prattville,
know
Alabama.
Really?
I can remember that moment like it was yesterday because I thought it was the coolest thing in the entire world.
Was it a solo show, or were you out with
I was playing with a couple of different people, but I came on stage and I came on last, and I don't like to say it was a headline event because we all just switched spots at different places that we played, you know. But I came on stage, and soon as I started singing, everybody started singing back. And I stopped one time because it almost freaked me out a little bit. I was like, this is awesome. And then as it kept going, they kept singing every song. And then I played a concert in Conroe, Texas at the Texas Red Fest, and the crowd did it again. But this time I was ready for it because I was like, if this happens again, I'm going to jam with everyone, you know? Because the first time it was such a beautiful moment that it kind of told me I'm doing something right. Yeah. And I just got like childishly happy, I guess.
Well, tell me about Rodeo Desperado. Growing up in the Southwest, certainly that relates to your life as a kid and people you were around.
Yeah, well, when me and Christian Stallnecker originally wrote this song, the idea was to take George Strait Cheyenne and tell the story about what happened afterwards.
Oh, okay.
That was the initial idea because, you know, I love 90s country.
So this is the sequel.
That's what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
But as the song ended up developing, it kind of turned into, you know, about chasing a dream, and no matter what happens during chasing the dream's the most important thing. Whether you get your heart broken or, you know, you run into bumps in the road, whatever it may be, you got to keep chasing the dream, and that's what it turned into. And I was excited about it, and first time I ever heard it like played back to me, I was like, dude, we may have something right here, buddy.
Austin Tolliver, Rodeo Desperado, all over the world on WSM Radio, home of the Grand Ole Opry, and Circle Country Television.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
And while we were away on television, Charlie was updating us on the College World Series, and our special guest, Austin Tolliver, has made a prediction for the finals. What were the two schools at you?
Well, I haven't seen the bracket, so I'm going to sound kind of dumb if the bracket doesn't work this way, but I think it'd be LSU Murray State. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. Hopefully the bracket works out. All the bracket people out there, make sure I'm right, but I really hope it can work out that way.
Well, you just knew when there were two SEC teams in there, they were going to stick them together. You
That's
just knew that was going to happen, right?
Like, terrible.
So baseball, you said, was that your first love or was it football?
Football, 100%.
Oh, okay.
I got so bored playing baseball.
Did you?
I got ADD bad, and I was really good in center field because I could track a ball and go catch it from anywhere. It was the same thing as playing wide receiver. You just there's a ball in the air, go catch it. Yeah. But baseball got to the point to where it was just like, man, can we do something?
Well, I will say this. I don't like when they change things that are that have a 100-year tradition, but the best thing baseball has done in years is the pitch clock, because now you don't have 3.5, 4-hour games anymore. At least it moves a little bit,
I agree with you and kind of disagree with it because I like the traditional way of doing it, because at that point it's kind of there's some gamesmanship going on too, But now that there's a pitch clock on there, there's not much gamesmanship anymore. And I kind of liked it when guys would step out on Randy Johnson, and next thing you know, Randy Johnson throws 101 right at your head. Don't do that again.
Hits a seagull in the process.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I kind of felt bad for the seagull on that one. Like literally explodes.
Did not feel a thing.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It was a quick one.
It wasn't. Yeah, if you're gonna go, yeah.
That was a mess. We were just talking about Luke Combs because I know he's your dad's favorite son. But he opened Bonnaroo last night. So, when you're thinking about things that are on your list now, what are some of the things that you want to check off the list? What's on the big dream board for you as an artist?
Right across the way over here, I definitely want to play.
He's pointing to the entrance to the Grand Ole Opry House. Yeah.
I want to play the Opry real bad, because to stand in that circle means you made it. Whether you've become a Hall of Famer or whether somebody knows your name, if you get in that circle, you can kind of say you've made it. So that's one of them. And then, all the normal things. I want to play every stage that I can get on that everybody enjoys people playing, CMAs and Bonnaroo and whatever little town in the middle of nowhere wants me to come play. I don't care. I just like to have fun.
Austin Tolliver, if you just joined us here on Coffee, Country, and Cody.
What's the smallest crowd you've played for and the biggest, and which was harder?
It's interesting. Biggest crowd I probably played in front of was 5,000. Smallest crowd was what, 2 the other day in Cleveland?
Okay.
Two's harder than 5,000.
Well, no, the problem was up in Cleveland, the weather was terrible. It was terrible, and the concert was like a outdoor concert with like a little tent over the top of it. So a lot of people were just like, no, it's too cold, because it was like, 40 degrees out there and raining. And then once the rain stopped, people started showing up. But at first when we went on stage, there was 2 people, and I was like, you know what? These 2 people are about to get the greatest show they've ever done.
That's right.
Take that, Luke Combs.
And I mean, to be honest, playing in front of 2 or 5,000, there's no difference. There's no difference. You got to give everybody the same effort that you would give at any point in time, because they paid their hard-earned money to be there.
Well, Charlie Daniels' memoir was never look at the empty seats.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of philosophy in that statement.
Absolutely. And in my opinion, an empty seat still ain't empty, because there's some soul that's in it.
Yeah.
You got to sing to it.
I like that.
So tell me this. What's your wife's name?
Amberly.
You walked into what you thought was a breakfast deal, and it was a tanning salon where she worked?
No. So Amberly, okay. Amberly, we met randomly on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
It was randomly on TikTok, and the funniest part is she was in a live with a friend of mine, and I'd never seen her before. I didn't know she was friends with my friend. And so I just jumped in the live. And I was like, hi. And usually I'm not a guy who's short on words, And I told her hi, and she was like, what do you want? And I looked at her dead in her face and said, I'm going to marry you.
Okay.
And then
Subtle.
she was like, whatever, dude. And
Stranger
kicked
danger.
me out of the live. Turned me off of the live. And I was like, all right, I kind of like this. And then about a month later, we got together, and we've been together since then, since December of 2022, and we have a 6-month-old baby now, a little girl. And I couldn't be more happier than I am right now with the fact that I get to watch my wife raise my daughter into a woman, and it's the coolest thing because I have no idea what I'm doing. I just try to be fun dad and do exactly what she tells me to do because she knows everything that she's doing.
Is she from Nashville?
No, she is from Navasota, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Navasota, Texas.
And what's your little girl's name?
Rebel K. Oh. That's why I wear my hat.
Rebel.
Yeah. I wear my Rebel hat.
That's cute. Well, with a name like that, she's gonna be a handful. When
She don't like it when Daddy leaves the house without his Rebel hat. She gets a little angry.
Gotta go represent, Dad. Come on.
Yes, sir. She gets a little angry. She's got that Cajun in her, you know. She's got that Cajun in her. But I got really lucky. I've got the best baby in the entire world. Like, people always talk about how their babies like cry and stay up all night. Mine don't. She just sleeps. Like, she'll wake up at like 4 a.m. and look at me and be like, Dad, are we ready to party? And I'm like, no, we're not. And then she'll just go right back to bed. And I'm like, all right, cool.
All right, there are people listening right now pulling out Austin Tolliver voodoo dolls and sticking little pins in it because they
Probably. Just so y'all know, that don't work on me. I'm from Louisiana. I've got that good gree-gree on me, all right?
So, I'm thinking about Opry star and comedian Henry Cho right now. And he said, people say, your kids sleep at night? I said, I don't know. We just turn the fan on and go to bed.
That's what Amberly does. Like, all of a sudden, Amberly will go, all right, 6:30, it's dad time. And then she just hands me the baby. And I'm like, okay, we're going to figure this thing out, you know? And because she's already been fed and changed, and now it's like party time, you know? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, she'll just lay down on me and she'll just go to sleep. Next thing I know, it's the next morning. I'm like, I don't know what just happened, but thank God for it.
That's awesome.
What's Billy Joe Tolliver think about grandparenthood?
Oh, he is a softie.
Is he really?
Oh my goodness. He's more soft now with the grandbabies than I've ever seen him. All he does every time he sees Rebel is goes, oh, that's one cute baby right there. That's one cute baby. And my sister has 3 kids, and they're in Baton Rouge, and my parents live like right down the street from them, so my parents get to see my sister's kids all the time. And my nephew, he calls my mom every single Saturday and says, hey, Cuckoo. She'll be like, you coming over? He'll be like, can I? And he'll come over to my mom's house every single Saturday, and all they do is color pictures of Ursula.
That's awesome.
The kid loves Ursula, and so now I got to figure out how to be Ursula for Halloween.
I have a makeup tutorial saved on my Pinterest. I'll send it to you.
Awesome.
That's
I can't wait for
amazing.
it because I'm gonna do it for the kid. I'm telling you.
You need to.
You have hooked him up. Tell me about Ghost in My Truck. That's where we'll close this morning.
Oh, Ghost in My Truck is a fun song. It's one of the ones that I really enjoyed the most because it's more along the lines of like mainstream country, and that's the vibe that I really lean towards. Mm-hmm. But it also had a 90s country vibe to it from the instrumental and stuff like that. And Josh Miranda, who's one of the best writers in Nashville, wrote that song. And when he presented it to me, I was like honored to even be considered for it. And man, when we went in and recorded it and I heard it, I said, this one right here is going to do awesome because it hits every box. And it tells an awesome story, you know, about losing somebody and thinking that your world's over, and next thing you know, you gain somebody else that makes your world complete. And that's the whole thing of the song. It's let the ghost go.
Austin Tolliver. Man, this has been a homecoming for me, and I know how much Kelly and Charlie have enjoyed it, and thank you for coming to see us.
No, I really appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for having me. It's an honor to be here. Not many people get to sit in this chair, and I thank y'all so much for even allowing me to come in.
Well, just know we hope that Opry dream comes true as you look out the window into the entrance.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
All right.
I don't know how we got to do it. We're going to do it, y'all. We're going to do it.
He's working on it, though.
That's for his dad, Billy Joe.
Bless it all. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so guess what? Kane Brown, he just invaded a Walmart and got on the speaker.
I love this.
It's so fun. If you haven't been watching, Kane has been doing a series of videos lately. He's got new music. He's got a lot of things that are happening. And the videos that he's been posting on social media are very funny. And I am loving this side of Kane. Like, we've known him and he's kind of reserved and he can be kind of serious. These are hysterical. So we have a video. Attention Walmart shoppers. Here's what happened when Kane hit the Walmart. Take a look.
Attention Walmart shoppers, this is Kane Brown, and I'm going to show you a new song I have coming out Friday.
Wait. This is the best part. What are you doing? And he takes off running and she starts chasing him through the Walmart. You can't do that. So his song came out today. I mean, I know it was all set up, but it was just the cutest. So he just basically pulls out his phone. He says, "Attention Walmart shoppers, I have a new song coming out on Friday." And he starts playing it. It's called Two Pair, and it's all about two pair of Lacases. So it's hysterical. But the fact that the Walmart employee comes up, she's like, "You can't do that," and then chases him through the store. Anyway, new song's out. If you want to listen to it, Two Pair. It's from Kane Brown. Okay, what's on Ella Langley's rider? Surprisingly more than I thought. I mean, she's a pretty chill girl, but she's gotten to the point in her career where she's like, yeah, I can ask for stuff, I'm going to get it. So she said must-haves include Cheez-Its, Heath bars, Smart Water, Red Bull, tequila, and whiskey. She said, I drink the tequila and my band drinks the whiskey. But sometimes if I'm feeling a little under the weather, I'll do a little shot of the whiskey. I'm like,
Oh, you know what? With a Heath bar.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So
She's-
no specific brand, just that you're leaving a lot up to.
No, she didn't say she had
chance
brand
there.
loyalty,
All right.
but she also said she takes the Heath bars if there's like any kind of refrigeration, she will freeze them because the Heath bars out of the freezer are really the best way to have them.
By the way, Charlie, as it relates to the brand of whiskey, this is a band we're talking about here. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't
You know,
care.
at some point, though.
It's free.
I mean,
These are
That's the brand.
They're road dogs.
It is free.
The brand is free. Thank you to our buddy Chris Jansen. He stepped in for Nate Smith. Nate had to bow out. He's having some vocal issues, but with 24 hours notice, Chris Jansen stepped up. He played a concert that was happening, Nevada's Country Under the Stars. All of the money raised goes to the Boys and Girls Club of Northeastern Nevada. So thank you, Chris Jansen, for stepping in a pinch like that. That was really cool.
And that's where we wrap it up this morning and head you into the weekend. Have fun at the lake, Kelly.
I will.
Yeah. And Reese is taking her test today?
She's taking it in about 20 minutes.
All right. Good luck, Reese. And Charlie Mattos, what are the family Matai up to this weekend?
The singular Matai will be at the Grand Ole Opry tonight with Connie Smith and Daly and Vincent, Riders in the Sky, Gary Muledeer, a little windy out there. And our special guests tonight include the great songwriter Gary Burr, Maggie Rose back at the Opry for the very first time since having the baby, Madeline Merlot, and Phil Vassar will be there as well. And then Kelsey Waldon's there tomorrow night.
Oh, very cool.
And I'll be at Kilgore Park in my hometown of Cross Plains, Tennessee, because All-Star Weekend is this weekend for Lillian softball. And that's what Popos do.
That's what Popos do.
All right. If you're able to stand and remove your cap, the Only Child National Anthem will close our broadcast for the week.
Thank you for
Coffee
pointing.
Country and Cody. So.
Songwriter Hall of Famer Bobby Braddock, responsible for I Want to Talk About Me. Hall of Famer Toby Keith.